maker. So we recognize this ego with their symptoms, with their effect. So it is always good to recognize the symptoms in the effects. I'm into anxiety, ego. Reaction, ego. Blame, ego. Complain, ego. React, fight, ego. So we have to find out how many times every day we get into anxiety, reaction, blame, complaint, duality, upset, frustration. So in those moments, this eye maker is destructive. I have an urge, I go to the washroom. That is also an eye maker, so it is good. So our masters talk about there is a ripe ego, there is an unripe ego. Since our childhood, after a few years, the moment we start using I without understanding who is this I, we start using I with different labels, and that causes the stress, anxiety, duality, and conflict in our life. So our masters are saying that we need to change it. We need to first understand it, and then we need to change. First, we have to understand. Now, I told you that, you are wrong and I am right. No, you are right and I am right and you are wrong. So I don't understand who the hell I is, and I just want to make a statement. It will not work. It causes lot of problems. So the Eastern wisdom begins with subjective reality and the objective reality. It begins with the subjective reality and objective reality. We have to understand that this I maker or ego cannot be recognized intellectually. You can recognize by its symptoms, by its effect. Do you ever want to go into anxiety, stress, duality, conflict? The answer is big no. I enter into it. It is because of ego. So let me find out. As Sophie, you asked, you just find out how many times I was into anxiety, reaction, blame, complaint, duality, conflict in my life. There the ego is. Destructive ego is there. Whether you say it sometime and then you enter into reaction, or whether you are burning within yourself, I have to find it out. No, I don't want to find, we become a philosopher. Everyone in the world is wrong except me. That is the big ego. That is the big ego. So the master says the first point is to understand there is a world which is constantly changing. The ego wants that changing event permanent. It believes that. It is deluded. Oh, you loved me so much, honey, 10 years ago. What happened now? You also changed. I don't want to see myself. I want to see others. So that is another way to understand. Understand. So, listening and learning. It is not that you are listening to my audios. You are listening to the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. I am a small fry in the entire Eastern wisdom. I don't even exist. So I pick up those principles. So the principle is that I have to listen to it again. Then I have to sit down, contemplate and reflect. And then after reflection, understanding is clear. Then I have to do the practice. And then I have to see Did I change my behavior and attitude? If I change my behavior and attitude, it will go a long way. So there is an objective reality, and then there is a subjective reality. Remember, I told you that you have a ripe ego, you have an unripe ego. Where I have to go, I have to come to your house. Where is the address? I got the address. I put the map. And I call you, I am reaching you. This is a positive ego. Ego has to be always there. If you destroy the ego, you cannot exist. But if you live with the unripe ego, immature ego, that is going to cause you the problem. And that will prevent you to realize your real nature. Your real nature. That is what our masters are saying. Ego, the moment you say I am, it is a positive ego. You are not fighting with anyone, you are not reacting to anyone. Yeah, that ego is okay. You have to use it. So, let us, I'm reminding from one text how the subject of this ego has been treated. First thing, that we study Eastern wisdom to study ourselves. I study the Eastern wisdom. It has been for more than 3 years, and still I am stressed. It means I don't want to leave my unripe ego. That is very clear. I don't want to leave. Why? Because I feel what I know is right. What I know is right, and still I am in stress. This is a contradiction, and that contradiction is created by the ego. Look at it. I have to look at myself. You are questioning me, it's okay, but you have to question yourself. Why the hell I live in anxiety, duality, conflict every day? Why? Did I live in peace, happiness, and joy throughout the day? No. Why no? So I have to analyze the symptoms and understand. So through the symptoms I can make out, oh, this is the unripe ego by which I am. So you can categorize into 3 and 4 categories to understand it. I can say one is, I'm just giving an interpretation from those verses in Sanskrit, so to make you understand. One is the righteous ego, righteous. So how do you define? Believing we are always correct and blaming the world for its imperfections. Keep quiet. Honey, you see that you have destroyed everything, keep quiet. You also destroy many things. But I don't want to do it. My mind is made up. I have made up my mind to blame others, to react to others. And there is no benefit. And still I do it. Why? Because I'm a righteous person. What a righteous person you are. A person gets into a heated argument with a family member over a minor issue, such as how to load the dishwasher, for example. They refuse to consider other person's point of view, insisting that their way is the only right way. They later complain to a friend about how difficult their family member is. You see, I did not check myself. I discuss, and when I discuss, I increase. I increase, and then I fall into problem. When I fall into problem, so I have the entire world to blame, except me. That is righteous ego. A driver is stuck in traffic They honk their horn and gesture angrily at other drivers, convinced that everyone else on the road is incompetent and selfish. What kind of a person you are? We don't notice it. We don't notice it. We make that mistake. We don't notice. So, this righteous ego, the delusion, stems from a deep seated need to be right. We often create an us versus them, me versus all the rest of the world. We are only the virtuous people, logical ones, they are the problem. That is righteous ego. I told you that I have to check, I have to understand, am I comfortable with you? Do I find at ease with you? Am I relaxed with you? Do I remain at peace with you? Finished. I have no problem. Let us communicate. Use the I word millions of times. It doesn't make any difference to you. You are relaxed before communication, during, and after. So one is the righteous ego. Second is the, you can say, the intelligent ego. What is intelligent ego? How can you define? You can define the intelligent ego over identifying with our intellect and feeling superior. I'm more beautiful than you, hence I'm superior. And you make everyone crazy in the meeting. Nobody looks at your beauty. Everyone, keeps a distance. Better to keep a distance. You have spent hours together to dress yourself to attend the party, and you create a ruckus in the party. Intelligent ego. There are people. So that is what is known as, think of a student in a group project dismisses all of their teammates' ideas, claiming that their own approach is only valid, one, due to their higher grades. They speak in different tone, using complex vocabulary to make their point, and refuse to listen to any input from their peers. If I start using the terminology the Eastern wisdom uses, you won't understand anything. I have to give a simple interpretation. That is intelligent ego. That this delusion is a trap of the mind where we mistake knowledge for wisdom. Intelligent ego. We mistake knowledge for wisdom. What is wisdom? Applied knowledge. We become so attached to our intellect that we believe it defines our worth. This can lead to intellectual arrogance and a lack of empathy. So I have to find out what do I lack empathy? Do I have a sense of arrogance? Do I ever feel a sense of selflessness in me? No. Intelligent ego. So I've been telling you that we have to recognize this with the symptoms in you, not in others. Find out, are you in anxiety? Are you upset? Are you comfortable? Are you uncomfortable? I'm very intelligent. Okay, go on the dais and speak for 10 minutes. Your legs start shaking. That is your ego. It's because of the ego, nothing else. You claim that you know. Whatever you know, go and speak. So that is second. The third one, you can categorize the entitled ego. Righteous ego, intelligent ego, the entitled ego. You expect the world to bend to your desires and becoming frustrated when it does not. I told you, honey, that this should work like this. You have destroyed everything. Okay, very good. And the next time you are already in a fit of anger and you break the tumbler from the kitchen. Oh, it happened. It happens to you, but others did the harm. What a great guy you are. Entitled ego. Entitled ego. I expect entitled. I'm entitled to expect that you should behave the way I expect from you. But I can behave the way I like it. Find out how many times we have done it. A customer at a cafe gets angry at barista because their latte is taking longer than they expected. I give you a lot of examples. They demand a refund and a free drink, believing that their time is more valuable than barista's. Well, you should have reached half an hour earlier. Why you did not you do it? No, I'm entitled. I'm your husband, so I'm entitled. I'm your wife, so I'm entitled. We create a lot of problems to our life by this ego, unripe, immature. This is also known as mental immaturity. This is also known in Eastern wisdom as impurity of the mind. This is also known as the delusion. There are many names. Depending on the context, we talk about it. You are a fresh graduate and you apply for a job, you are rejected and you become furious, believing that they are owed the position because of their prestigious degree. They complain to the friends and the family, convinced that the company made a mistake. And they are the victim of an unfair system. Unnecessary, unwanted. That is the way of thinking. When you have this type of a thinking, you cannot think right way. Master says that no, you have to listen to it again and again. You have to contemplate and reflect again and again until you reach to a point where you open to the wisdom, you apply that, you start from your life, you have been holding your unripe ego in relationship at home and you drop it. First you start at home. Let your family members say that you have changed. Maybe let them make a fun of you, but you still maintain that level of ripe ego. Then you can go outside in the society to check that yes, you have changed. Otherwise, just talking philosophy in a session, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that unless we change. And I have given you, again I'm repeating, how many times you have an anxiety, you blame someone, you reacted to someone, you had a sense of the upset. Every day, find out. That is the beginning. That is the starting point. Ask yourself, challenge yourself, why I am blaming? Why I am complaining? Can't I do it myself? No, I cannot do because you are my husband, so you are liable to do it. You are responsible for doing it. If I am that husband, I will leave you. Take care of yourself. Or wife, whatever it is. Another ego, I'm just explaining. Righteous ego, we understood the intelligent ego, we understood the entitled ego. Entitlement. Everything, the movement of the mind, the movement of the thought is deluded. It results into expected reaction. That is what we are talking about. So another name you can give, the secretive ego. Thinking our inner state is hidden while our thoughts and actions reveal everything. Why don't you find that inner state? Inner state is hidden. Bring that inner state in front. A person is at a social gathering. You are at a social gathering and you feel deeply insecure, believing everyone is judging them. Unnecessary. What I have to do, I become the center of attention by my own mind. That is secretive ego. I spent 4 hours at the dressing table and nobody is looking at me. Now everyone is looking at me, I feel insecure. My master, you say beauty of the body is one thing, beauty of mind is much greater than the beauty of the body. I'm just throwing those ideas in the thought. They try to act confident, laughing too loudly, talking excessively, but their body language, fidgeting hands, shifty eyes reveals their anxieties to the others. That is what I notice. This delusion, this ego comes out of the belief that we can control our external presentation while our internal state remains a secret, remains insecure, not a secret. The truth is that our thoughts and emotions have a profound impact on our actions in the world. Even our body language. You just live in peace and happiness. Whatever you know, you express, and you are finished. Finished. You remain relaxed. You are not relaxed. You are not calm. You are not at ease, neither at home, not with your relations, not with the people outside, not with the strangers. What kind of a life I am living? It is the life of the ego. It is the life of the ego. Again, I am repeating same thing. Did I enter into anxiety? Yes. Blame, complaint, feeling, thought in my mind, reaction, sense of being upset. And at any moment, come whatever happens outside in the world. I am not upset. I am not blaming anyone. I am not reacting to anyone. I don't have a sense of anxiety. Natural anxiety is important. Natural anxiety also comes by the ego. The snake is there. I should have a reflex action. That is okay. That is not going to continue. It comes and it goes. The snake has gone, it is gone. But if you make your partner as a snake, that is the problem. And that is done by ego. No, I'm just, giving you an understanding. If you make your partner as a snake, then every time you look at the partner and then there is a problem. Your mood is upset. And then you say, I tried my best to live. Live by yourself first. Then you can live with your partner. Unnecessary, unwanted, undesirable thoughts we have. And when those thoughts and a feeling and emotion reaches to a threshold level, then we do the physical violence or we commit suicide and we enter into depression or we enter into split personality. And we don't recognize it. And then what happens, because my mind is constantly thinking of that pressure of anxiety and getting upset and blame and complain is there. It creates millions of the thoughts in the mind. That mind impacts your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system. Our science says autonomic nervous system has two parts, parasympathetic and sympathetic. The sympathetic puts you internally, silently, with a high blood pressure, with a high level of the stress in the body, and ultimately it results into many illnesses. And you say, I have not done anything. why it happened to me, because the God chose to have with you. God loves you more. God is calling you much before anyone. So this is in summary, small fragments, small ways you pick up. I made it practical, fast. Every day you have to sit down for 15 minutes and half an hour. How many times you had the event of anxiety, duality, conflict, reaction, blame, complain, upset, anything that is negative. You'll make a list, then you contemplate and reflect over it. Why? How? Until you reach to a point that it is the internal condition of your mind that created this, not the outside. That is what the Eastern wisdom says. You have to reach to a point of conclusion that it is me. It is not the world outside. I have said this. How many of your mind still thinks other is responsible? I know. Your mind might be thinking. You might be thinking that this beer guy doesn't know. I know. Other is responsible for my problem. I can bet you. You might be thinking like this. If you are not thinking, you have understood. If you are not thinking, you have understood. Eastern wisdom is not easy in that sense, but it is easy if you're humble. Humble means you open up. You have a particular thought with the righteous ego, entitled ego, the intelligent ego, and the fourth one, what I said, the secretive ego. You leave all the thoughts pertaining to that. Humble means you are open. No, I will follow these principles and see whether I changed or not. I will question I did not change. That is the sign of humility. Humility is not that, you say, okay, namaste, sir, but internally I am closed. It doesn't work that way. Masters over masters have, the way they have explained these principles is unique. 10,000 years old. That knowledge still sustains, continues. It continues to guide the millions. $10,000 ago. We are grateful to those great masters who thought of passing on this knowledge, so they converted the entire knowledge into cryptic language known as the verses. Each verse contains 10 principles. And how they passed on? When there was no printing medium. They made their students to remember these verses. So from one student, one generation to the other generation, the same verse which was written 10,000 years old, which is still available. When the print medium came and they started scribing down. At that time, they thought of it. Same principles every teacher of the Eastern wisdom teaches. Expression is different, same thing they are teaching. From the same verse, from the same text. How relevant it is. That is one expression Masters helps us that at least we should be humble enough. Why? To bring about a change in our attitude and behavior. We don't want to change. Thank you. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Place position and posture. Place position and posture. Rises self-awareness. Self-awareness. I am aware. What it means? I'm aware of the body. I'm aware of the position. I'm aware of the I'm aware of the posture. So when you are aware, you notice, you feel. That is what place position in the posture teaches us. Being comfortable, I have been telling you, change of direction. Change of direction. You are outside. For example, you are what? You are outside your home. People are fighting. Just an example. Too much of noise. And you enter your house, close the door. That is change of direction. You have lot of thoughts, for example. Leave them as they are, and look within. It is so simple and yet it is very challenging. The challenging becomes easy by regular practice, by contemplation and reflection. So even when you are sitting alone, this weird guy taught me being comfortable. He started moving the change of direction. So what I'm sitting in the living room. I'm looking at the couch and the TV. And now, am I looking inside myself? Yes, you have changed the direction. It is so easy, and it is so difficult. Only the humility can open the door. If you maintain your ego, the door is already closed. But the moment you move the mind on the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, you start feeling the sensation on the skin of the body. And that sensation is very intense. Very intense. You have done this step correctly. You see how our masters make it clear? Everything is so pragmatic, practical, but there is a but. Anyhow, so now being carefree. I told you last time also, it's a deeper subject and object, knower in the known. Knower in the known, carefree, that knower in the known is already there. You simply know it. For example, I know you. Clear? So there are two things here. One is I, and second is you. Now you apply this to anything, any thought. You say, I know the kitchen. Yes, kitchen is one thing and you are second. So there are two things. One is I am, and the second is other. What is that other? You, he, she. Even anxiety is other, stress is other, blame is other. Why? Blame is a thought, but you are not your thought. So this ability to recognize, I am not saying you separate, recognize that I am and I am not are separate. So how, again, your question is, how do we do? Oh, no, we always ask those questions. Yes, it comes from the same I, which is mixed. I maker may be right, I maker may be wrong. Both are okay, so how do we do it? So the master says, check. What do you feel? What do you feel? Think. So you have a thought. Say, for example, you have a thought, I am upset. Is it a thought? Yes. So Master is asking, are you a thought? No, I am not a thought. So if I am not a thought, I am not a thought, and I am not upset. I know the thought, I know the word upset, and I am separate. I am separate from the thought and upset. We have to do this practice during the day, maybe 100 times. It takes a minute. Am I different? I am here, anxiety is there. I am here, blame is there. I am here, you are there. So I am separate. If this is not understood and applied, so this is what. So let us change, let us continue with the same practice today again as we did it last time, because that will help you understand clearly by repetition but with a different interpretation. So you place position and posture is intact. Self-awareness is there. The self-awareness is hijacked by the ego. Second point, you experience sensation, comfort and steadiness. Very good. Third point, you are carefree. I am not the thought, feeling and emotion. Fourth point, you look, feel, know, skin of the head and the neck. Means what? You are moving the mind. When you move the mind there, you experience sensation, relaxation and stillness. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. When you experience that, it is settling of the mind. Oh yes, I can settle my mind during the practice, but just after that, I return to the same state again because of that ego. I maker. I maker does not want to change because you don't contemplate, because you don't analyze. Move the mind on the skin of the right arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the left leg, left arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips. As you move, you should feel the sensation. Why? Because your mind is very near to you, to the body. But why? The mind was scattered outside, that's why we don't feel those sensations. So now you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Move the mind on the skin of the shoulder down to the last rib in the front, in the last waist to the waist, from shoulder to the waist, in the front and at the back, and be there. You feel the sensation, relaxation and stillness. Move the mind on the right leg, from the right side of the waist to the toes. And experience, feel sensation, relaxation and stillness. Move the mind on the left leg, from the left side of the waist to the toes. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. And the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. So recheck. What to recheck? Place, position and posture. So what it gives you, one is simple place, position and posture. And it is a matter of self-awareness. Negative ego, the unripe ego hijacks your self-awareness and it starts thinking mechanically, habitually, impulsively. And then you are be comfortable. So do you check it is a change of direction of the mind? Means people are fighting outside, you are inside, you are aware of them fighting, but it doesn't impact you. So similarly, you have lot of the thoughts. Nothing happens to the sky, the millions of birds are flying. Nothing happens to the highway, you have a traffic jam. Ego says, no, why I have those thoughts? Wisdom says, oh no, we have no worries. Ego is made up of those thoughts. It's a long journey to understand. Anyhow, be carefree. I told you, nowhere in the known you are free. And you settle the mind by the experience, feeling of sensation, relaxation and stillness. So you have all those. It is not that you have done the first step. Normally what happens in our formal education, you have done the 10th grade, so nobody is going to ask you what is in the 10th grade. No, I have to maintain that awareness, the previous step. Now in that step you have prepared the ground. In that ground you look at the breath. You simply look at the breath. Looking at the breath means what? Flow of the breath. What it means, mind follows the movement of the breath. Mind follows the movement of the breath. You are aware. Mind does not follow any past thought, even if it is there. I made it clear. So, what happens when the mind follows the breath? Mind and the breath are going together. So, when the breath is moving the mind, why? Because mind follows the breath. So, it prevents the thought to dictate the mind. So, you enjoy that state, and it reflects the peace from within in order to continue. The moment the breath goes in, you count mentally in one, you count out one, in two, you go on counting the breath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. We'll share our experiences now. Are you made?
Ah, I feel very peaceful, and as though something has been lifted and taken away, and I've come to a place of calmness.
Good. Good. How are you, Charlie?
I was aware of a lot of thoughts, but I was just seeing them, so I just sat with them and came to a still place with my breath in and out.
Good, yeah. If we are able to perceive the separation of ourselves from the thoughts, that definitely is a good state. How are you, Anne? We don't hear you.
No. I feel very good, very quiet, peaceful. I felt my back relaxing.
Good.
Which gets sometimes very tired, and though I'm not nervous or anything, but it's just something that happens with age.
It is. You are not aging. Your body is aging.
No. Okay.
You are ageless.
All right.
How are you, John?
Hey, Girish, I'm fine. I think I'm struggling with jet lag, so sorry to say I fell asleep.
Ah, fell to sleep. Okay, that is okay. How are you, Sophie?
I am good, though I could feel my head going like that, but I didn't really fall asleep. But my body was.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know, I have flown so much, but I never felt a jet lag. I don't know why. Maybe I'm crazy, so you all are wise. I never felt that way. Never felt. And especially traveling to India 24 hours. Single flight. Never felt that way. So anyhow, that is all for today. August is there, so we have the last session in the month of the August. You need not to pay anything in the month of September, and let us see after September what happens. Thank you.
Thank you.